What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel, and also live from Travis X account. As always, the host with the most, JP, and to my right, my esteemed brother, co-host and friend, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. My camera just switched there, which yeah, now I look like I'm in a lava lamp, which is fantastic. But anyways, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Obviously, was very exhausted when I got home from week of the combine. You know,
Mhm.
St. Elmo's 4 nights in a row. You know, Burn Cigar Lounge 3, 4 nights in a row. So,
Mhm.
hey, man, networking at that town starts at 8:30 p.m. and goes till who knows when. So, anyways,
Yeah.
finally got a bit more rest and hitting the ground running, man. Talked to a lot of NFL people all week and getting connected with them, seeing if we can work with them. So, very cool stuff. And then, yeah, and a great weekend for the Sooners as well. So, how have you been?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I've been good. Getting back into the throes of stuff after, like you said, a fun week having you up here, and I we barely got to. I mean, we hung out, you know, at nighttime a few times, but I had my regionals going on, so I was over there doing that. Trav got to take a picture, or not, won't take a picture, but got to be at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse for my girls' basketball game, which I had to apologize to him for the fact he had to lay eyes on it. But I was surprised he didn't go to the middle of the floor and step on it or something like that. He was very respectful. But it was a good time. It was fun, and yeah, it's been a light week for the most part. But yeah, like you said, man, the Sooners got a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about in terms of obviously just discussing on the show. The Sooners that performed at the combine. Obviously, our guy G Baby, one of the biggest and best combine performances. RSJ with his 40 time. Deion Burks, just the whole list. So it'll be fun to discuss that, and then Cooper Witten, big time commit there.
Man, yeah. I mean, let's start off with the combine, man. I mean, Oklahoma Sooners have 10 players at the combine and really had um, some of the standout performances, right? Um, the offensive side of the ball, you're really looking at obviously Jaron Canick ran under the 4.6. I was told while I was at the Shrine game that a team had told him that if he ran under 4.6, that he would be getting a call. What's funny is his agent messaged me on Twitter, who I didn't know, and was like, "Hey, what was that team you tweeted about?" I was like, man, well, good to meet you, first of all. So, anyways, it was Jaron did what he needed to do, and then Deion Burks again, the offensive side of the ball, man. First of all, like I mean, he looks like a gymnast, and I mean that in the most complimentary way.
Yeah.
The dude has never missed an arm day. I'll tell you that much. I remember being down there with the scouts when he was about to run his 40, and the dude's just yoked, just biceps and shoulders and everything. And I literally, when he took off his first 40 that he ran, I heard a scout behind me go, Jesus. Like, totally blown away by how fast his feet were moving, the explosive, the 10-yard split.
Yeah.
He had one of the fastest times at the combine, I believe fastest amongst wide receivers. He made himself some money. He, I believe, benched the most. I think 26 reps of 225. So I think the wide receivers he did the most. I think he had the highest vertical of the wide receivers. Maybe I don't know. He was in there. Oh, he was the second fastest wide receiver behind former Sooner Brennan Thompson. But anyways, had a huge combine. But defensively, man, again, we kept on talking about how there were 8 defenders going to the combine, and RSJ, ran a 4.32, which shocked a lot of people. Um, You know, you've got G Baby who had the vertical that you wanted. I think he was like had like a near perfect RAS score. I mean, they made themselves some money. I know that Grayson has already been brought out by one AFC contender for a top 30 visit. Um, just blessed, those guys are. I mean, we obviously saw the mock draft that I put out that the uh, who was it? The Panthers or no, the Texans had mocked. They had mocked G Baby to the Texans in the second round.
I saw
If
that.
Drake Lawson gets up into the second round, it's going to be a party. Like that's big time. So, but R. Mason Thomas ran well. Like the defenders made themselves money. Owen did a good job. Kendall Daniels did a good job. They all did great in their interviews. So, yeah, just good stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was man, what a week, bro, for the Sooners. I mean, we'll get into more, like you said. You talked a little bit about Dion and G Baby. We can certainly discuss G Baby a little bit more in depth. But one thing that I wanted to bring up is was it Wednesday night? I think we're sitting at St. Elmo's, which most of you guys know by now is a famous steakhouse in downtown Indy. They basically have Travis's name engraved on a seat there at this point for how many times he was there last week. But um, you know, famous for their shrimp cocktail, good steaks as well, really good steaks. Peyton Manning has his own little cellar in there. 100 plus year old steakhouse, right? So me and Trav are there. We get our table. We're seeing a lot of people walk in, execs, coaches, you know, players, combine player, Caleb Downs, walking upstairs. And so we get sat down. We're waiting on Buford, Grayson's father, and so Buford finally gets there. And as soon as or actually before that, RSJ, we saw him walk in, right? And we dapped him up and everything. He went and sat with his agent, and then Buford gets there. We're eating a nice steak. We got a little pork chop. We was chopping it up. Just talking about how things are going with G Baby, and then RSJ is walking out, and RSJ is dapping us up, and Trav asked him like, "What do you think you're running?" And I'm pretty sure what did he say, Trav? He said, "I'm definitely going 4-4."
He's like 4-4. We're gonna try and touch 4-3. And he just had uh, just a little smile. RSJ's always got that kind of thing going on though. That kind of
Yeah,
smooth. Just I'm not telling you everything. He's real quiet anyways. So
yeah,
yeah, he lets let the tape do the talking, I should say.
yeah. Yeah. And so I just vividly remember because like I said, like last week was so busy for both of us. Like he was up there obviously doing work stuff. He had a local college here in Indianapolis, Indiana High School in Marion that he's got for TSCG, his company that he was onboarding. So he was doing that. I obviously had, my job as athletic director. I was running around, planning for regionals, games at Gamebridge, all that stuff. So that's part of the reason we didn't even get to do a live show. It's like, well, why didn't we do a show when we're together? It was like we were just so busy, we didn't have the time. And so, anyways, all that to say, like I remember I was at work and I saw that RSJ ran a 4.3. Was it 4.32? Right?
Yep, 4-3-2.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, Trav, like, bro, he literally like he called his shot. Like it was amazing because he literally told us that the
Yeah, that
night
was
before,
nuts.
bro, this is what's happening. This is what I'm running. And he went out there and did it as a safety too. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was what was he, the first player in 20 years to run a 4-3-2 at 200 pounds or more?
yeah, yeah,
That's pretty crazy because you got a lot of people that are playing different positions going like, okay, are you really the body type for that position, or are you more of a wide receiver? Are you more of a corner? Are you more of a blah blah blah? Like,
yeah,
now over 200 pounds at safety, going 4-3-2. I talked to a bunch of scouts afterwards because that's where I sit is down there. Like, it's crazy. They have like a line kind of roped off at the angle to the top of the stands. They use like trash bags they just roll up, and it's just so the scouts can sit and see all the way to start their time and then hand time it. And all of them, like when RSJ was running, when Dion was running, they were chatting. They were impressed for sure.
Yeah.
Which is always what you want to do. Like you don't want to be one of these players that everybody thinks is going to run a 4.25 and then you run like a 4.36 and everybody's like, "Oh man, what happened?" Brother, you ran a 4.36. Like go in with expectations of, man, this guy might be 4.445.
Yeah.
And then hit him with like I talked to a college coach about this about a month ago. He's like, you always want to test slow. He's like, test slow until it's combine time, because you don't want on the field, you don't want them knowing you're a 4.25 or 4.3 guy. They'll play you differently. You want them thinking you might be a step slow, and then when it comes time to money making time, okay, cool, I'll go run that time.
Yeah.
Got to set those expectations. We should have set up a 40, you and I, while I was up there for the combine, and just time some 40s.
The last 40 that I ran, which was 6 years ago, I think I ran like a 4.7, 4.8, 4.7, something like that. But that was back when I was early 20s. So who knows now?
We see.
I think I could do a 5. I think I could get to a 5.
Yeah, I mean, I still do like. I mean, I know it's not the same, but I mean, I walked 5 miles yesterday on my walking pad. I walked 3 today. I'll go out and run with the dog. Yeah, but again, I don't remember. Like, I quite literally don't remember the last time that I ran as fast as I could for 40 yards straight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, maybe I need to take the dog out, next couple of days and just try and pedal to the metal. But it's just not something you think about doing. Like, man, when's the last time that you ran full speed for 40 yards?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people need to make sure they stretch before they do that, because we don't want to have somebody tearing no hamstrings and stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, G Baby, he went out there and did the dang thing. What was his vertical? 30, 38?
36 and a half.
36 and a half at almost 300 pounds, bro.
Yeah, 290, 293. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's nuts. Uber athlete. And for those of you out there, I know it's a little light in here because OU baseball's playing right now, but for those of you out here who have kids or whatnot, that are growing up thinking of doing great things, like some knowledge that Beeford, all right, Boomer Schooner 129, calm down. Some knowledge that Buford dropped on us, was that he had Grayson play like everything. Like, Grayson was not a one sport kid. He was playing soccer, he was playing basketball, he was playing baseball, and it just helped develop his body so much in different ways. It made him an athlete, like, for real. His body, that's why he's so nimble. His feet are good. And it's just important, more important now than ever. Like, hey, let your kid play multiple sports. I'm not saying that he's gonna be a freak like Grayson is, but at the end of the day, it does provide a good foundation for them.
Yep, athleticism, man. It matters. Don't specialize too early. There's no need to specialize early.
Yeah.
Vikings got an opening on the DL next to Jalen. Yes, they do. Man, I would. One of the things that I've missed out on, or all of us have missed out on, really, with Oklahoma not having as big a draft classes as they used to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Stoops' biggest classes and things like that. Like, obviously going forward, they're going to have big classes again, but kind of Brent revamping things and everything. We had a couple light years. We didn't have a year with no draft picks. I can't imagine a team doing that. That would be crazy if you considered yourself a national power and win a whole draft with having 0 draft picks. But I digress. So, like, but it's less of a chance for me to get a Viking, right? Like, I would love to have, you know, G Baby drafted there, or RSJ drafted there, or Deion Burks drafted there. I mean, obviously we're not drafting wide receiver, but you know what I'm saying? Like Owen Heineke, like, how hard a Heineke jersey would go in the purple and gold, man. I'd be rocking that thing. So it's like that kind of stuff. And then obviously, as the chat has said, um, you know, Kyler with rumors of being available. If Kyler were a Viking, oh man, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. But oh yeah, Ryan C. Oh, that was Texas that didn't have anybody drafted recently. That's crazy.
He said
That's crazy. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where Kyler ends up. I sure hope it's Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I understand why the Cardinals felt like they had to do it. I mean, he's not been healthy and everything, but I think that they didn't give him an offensive line. I still think that Kyler, and honestly, with everything, and I hate to bring up something that may be salty for you and Kirby, but like with the resurgences of a Baker Mayfield, of a Sam Darnold who just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, like you can't just write off quarterbacks because they didn't pan out with their first team anymore. Like you just can't. It's been disproven by far. Multiple guys, right? Multiple guys at this point.
I still think I will die on the hill of us making the right decision on Darnold. Darnold went to a team with one of the best defenses in the league down the stretch. The only team that could score on them was the Rams. Mm-hmm. And then Kenneth Walker played out of his mind. Like, their offensive line's incredible. Like, the Vikings didn't have the team around Sam Darnold that they would have had this year. This team that the Vikings had this year is not as good as the team that Seattle had. So, shout out Sam Darnold for winning the Super Bowl, but that run game, defense, offensive line, that's good stuff. I mean, they won. Didn't they win a game where he threw like 3 picks? Like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
So. He wasn't like the best quarterback in the league. Don't get me wrong, but I just when you go 14-3 with a guy, I don't personally understand. It could be me.
Finances.
And that is why your GM got fired.
Finances.
That's why. Let's just be honest. But anyways,
speaking of quarterbacks.
Okay, no. We don't have to do it. No. We don't have to do that because
wait, what? Speaking of quarterbacks, news came out in Indianapolis day 1 or 2 of the combine that the Colts were putting Anthony Richardson on the trade block. Former, what was it, number 4 overall pick or something like that? What was he? Number 4 overall pick, Anthony Richardson. Oh boy, made available to trade. I think I we'll have to play the clip next week maybe when when JP said that he would take Anthony Richardson over Baker Mayfield. Not one of his better takes that he's had on the JP and Trav show. Probably not his worst take though that he's had on the JP and Trav show. That he would take Anthony Richardson over Baker Mayfield. Anthony Richardson. Speaking of solar panel sales, he might need to get into it. Might need to get one of those little scooters they'd be riding around on.
He got linked to Minnesota, so I mean, you might be, he might be on your team.
No.
He might be on your team.
Maybe it's backup.
I did, just for the record, for those of you who are new and don't remember that episode, what I said was, and I quote, if we're going from a youth perspective and a talent perspective, okay, I understand taking Anthony Richardson or going with AR because that's what they did. They chose to go with the younger option over Baker. I said I would have loved to have Baker. I think that that's what they should have done. I understand why at the time they took that risk because Anthony Richardson was like 21, okay, tested at an enormous rate at the combine. I think one of the best combine performances there ever was is from a quarterback specifically. Okay. Obviously, it didn't pan out because he's injury prone, right? And obviously, he's a little soft. Those things can change. Like we said, we can't give up on a quarterback anymore, and especially not a guy that, like, even in the league, we saw him have flashes. Like, we saw him make stupid Josh Allen type plays a lot. It just also didn't get any better on the back end. We didn't see him shore up his turnovers or other things like that, right? And he didn't have a lot of chance to grow because he was hurt half the time. So who knows what he could be? But I never said that he was better than Baker Mayfield. Y'all know how I feel about Baker. I rock heavy with Baker Mayfield.
That's what was so shocking about the take. That's why the whole chat was like, is JP up here saying he'd rather have AR than Bake? And you were like, yeah.
I never said this, by the way.
Yeah.
I never said that. Back to what was happening in Indianapolis on the field actually last week, the combine. Deion Burks was another one that flashed. Obviously, we just talked about him, the speed, athleticism. How many reps did he put up? Was it like 30 or something like that?
26.
26, yeah. Crazy.
Yep.
As a wide receiver, too.
No, he did incredibly well. And that's when people are like, man, where was this at OU? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you always want to see your guys do well, but like I wonder what was going through John Mateer's head when he saw Deion run a 4.30. Was it, man, I wish you could have ran that 4.30 when he gave it to you on jet sweeps, or man, I wish Jaden Knott would have blocked for you that one time, or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like we saw a glimpse of it in the Alabama game, right on that.
We did. He took
that tunnel screen.
Yep.
But it feels like beyond that, he was fast, but he couldn't make people miss. That's what it looked like. And then also, I don't know that John didn't give him. I need to see the all 22 because I don't know for sure. But were there times he was open? I don't know down the field. Like, did he run streaks and he was open, flying past guys, and John didn't throw it? Because we heard a lot. Sometimes John was scared to let it rip, especially with his thumb. So, like, I wonder how much that had an effect as well.
Yeah, it's tough because as I'm sitting there and I see him take off, I'm like, oh man, sure be nice to have a wide receiver like that at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Like, I pray he doesn't get to the league and just like cook people, in terms of like, his flashiness or something like that. Because that'd be something we hadn't seen. Like,
well, I hope the narrative isn't that. Like, I'm cool with him just like going off and becoming like JSN or something like that. But also, like, I don't want it to become a story of, yeah, his production out of Oklahoma wasn't very impressive, but man, once he got into a system that would feature him, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know NFL announcers don't get into it that much, but there may be, like, if he goes on a crazy, has a crazy rookie year, anything like that, like, there's going to be a sports talk show, there's going to be a podcast, there's going to be something that's like, man, what's wrong with Oklahoma's offense? They weren't able to feature him more often. Man, you got NFL teams featuring him, so you want him doing well, but you don't want it to be at the detriment of the reputation of Oklahoma's offensive play callers.
Yeah, no, I agree. One guy I did want to talk about, I want to get your opinion on, Trav. What did you think about our Mason's combine? I mean, what did he do anything besides the 40? Is that all he did? Because I feel like I didn't see that much else.
I'm not sure his other testing numbers, but really, I don't know what else he would. I mean, he ran a 4.67 in the 40. Went and got
Which
measured.
is good.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Testing results. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I think he just ran the 40.
Because I didn't see him. Like I wouldn't imagine he would have tested well in the vertical. I didn't see that. You know.
Yeah, let's see. Stats. NFL. Yeah, I don't need to get all the way into the events. Watch. News, combine. Let's see. View results. R. Mason. Yeah, so it's only got, that's his 40. 10-yard split was 163. He didn't do the vertical. He didn't do the broad. Didn't do the 3-cone. Didn't do the 20-yard shuttle or the bench. So,
Okay, so he just did the 40.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah, when you look at, the all performers, Dominic Williams tied for the 5th most reps on the bench press. When it came to the 40, Deion Burks ran the 4th fastest, and Robert Spears Jennings ran the 7th fastest. 10-yard splits. Deion Burks had the 2nd fastest 10-yard split. Brennan must have really picked up. They don't have Brennan Thompson's 10-yard split, which is kind of crazy. Vertical, of the wide receivers, Deion Burks had the highest vertical.
Yeah.
Broad jump, Deion Burks, 10 feet, 11 inches was good for like 5th best among wide receivers. So, Oklahoma had some dudes that were up there. Old Latrell McCutcheon, 4th best shuttle.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. But all in all, a good combine for Oklahoma.
For sure. And just real quick, just saw this Patriots and Cleveland did as well, but are hosting Oklahoma Edge, our Mason Thomas on the top 30 visit. And Cleveland did the same thing. So, I mean, he's getting projected as a late first rounder.
Man, that would do wonders for Brent Venables.
Whew. Yeah, it would.
To get him a first rounder on the defense. We've been waiting for it for a long time. Like I said, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Been 20 years. We've had 2 in the last 20 years. That's humiliating. So, hopefully.
That's crazy to think. For real. Well, let's get to Cooper, man. Cooper Witten, class of 2027, commits to the Sooners, and obviously we know that his dad recently just got hired, but it seemed like we were in the league before then anyway.
Yes, Oklahoma was surging. Oklahoma was leading early on. The kid was camping at Oklahoma in 2023. Long time ago. He was his first offer was Oklahoma. He visited Oklahoma a ton, had good relationships with Brent Venables and everybody on the staff. I'm not going to say his dad being here didn't help, but if his dad stayed a high school coach, I still think Oklahoma probably lands Cooper Witten. Now, Tennessee and A&M would probably tell you something different, but I don't have the crystal ball to tell you otherwise. So he had always been camping at linebacker. I knew that much. So I don't think he was ever going to have the build of a corner.
No.
I think it might have been because, like, Valai and I know Valai and Jason were close. It could have been that Valai made the offer to him or talked to him about the offer or whatever, or was part of the recruiting on him. But yeah, I mean, he's not. He doesn't have the body type to be a corner. He plays tight end and linebacker for Liberty Christian. And when he played all the 4A and 5A schools and everything like that, he was wildly productive. So, people will, I'm sure, talk about, oh, well, it's just like Arch. No, it's not at all like Arch. Not at all. Arch played 2A. Looked like he was playing out there against middle schoolers. Never went to a camp. Like, not the same.
Yeah. No. It's also in Texas. It's a different animal, even at the private school level. So, and again, dudes being recruited by, best of the best. So, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. He's 247's number one rated linebacker. On 3, 247, ESPN, they all have him as like a top 35, top 40 player. He's squarely in 5-star status. And that gives Oklahoma 3 5-stars in the class of 2027 so far. So, 2 on offensive line, 1 at linebacker. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
The number 1 rated, according to 247 Composite, recruiting class in the country. And they're having a huge recruiting weekend this weekend. They've got obviously Jamison Roberts coming in, who is their, potential signal caller. Their only 2027 quarterback that they're pursuing. They had another 5-star coming in, and I don't know why I can't remember the name. That's going to bug me. Oh, well. But it's got a lot. Kobe. So Kobe is an agent that I met at the Combine. He went out with us to Burn. That's who we were watching the Thunder game with him. So no, you cannot have Brent Venables back. We are enjoying him in Oklahoma, and just great dude. Great father, great husband. Just great guy. So we're excited to have Brent, and we're excited that he's landing number 1 linebacker in the country. That's fun. So
yes, we are.
Clemson will be fine. Y'all got Dabo. You'd be more than fine. But yeah, it was a big time pickup. 2027 class, ranked number 1. We'll probably land 2 or 3 more commitments this weekend, whether they go public or not. Probably not this weekend, but we'll probably add them to the class. I think we're at 14 commits right now. So ideally, you want to get your class wrapped up by August. You hate when things kind of go into the season, right? You love it whenever you are trying to flip some guys like Jonathan Hatton Jr. You were very glad that went into the season so you could flip him. But ideally, you want your class done. Oh, Seneca Driver. Thank you, Les. Seneca Driver, number 1 tight end in the country. I believe he's out of Kentucky. The first call that Jason Witten made when he got the job was to Seneca Driver. The first recruiting call. I'm sure he called friends and family. But, Seneca Driver was his first recruit he reached out to when he got the job.
Okay. That's what I like to hear. And I hope it's what we like to see here in the future.
Yeah, he's got a chance to transform that tight end room pretty dramatically, I feel, because you've got, you've brought in experienced SEC talent out of Florida and Tennessee, and you brought in a guy named Rocky Beers. So he's going to be good. So I think I told this story when I was sitting there with Jaron Canick and friends and family and whatnot at the Shrine game. We were all eating after the Shrine game. And one of our buddies says, "Hey, Travis, we haven't been keeping up with the portal stuff. What position group do you think benefited the most or improved the most?" And Jaron said, "Tight ends by far." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus or anything, but it's just it's just from coach to players, just as a whole, the room is significantly different." I was talking to Josh Pate yesterday about it because he was bringing up, "Hey, can Oklahoma run the ball next year? I think that'll be such a big difference." Well, I think one of the things that he didn't mention, and a lot of people are failing to mention, is how much the tight end room has to do with our run game. And
Yeah.
the fact that our best tight end last year, all SEC tight end, like he couldn't just put his hand in the dirt and go block a guy, and just know that it's gonna get done. Like you could pull him, things like that, like put him in motion, have him block, but like having a guy out there that's like 6'7", 6'7" and a half, 290 as a tight end, like that's just a completely different. It's just a completely different body you have to block. So
Yes.
with that, you've got size elsewhere coming in. So yeah, if he can land Seneca Driver and have him come in behind, because these guys, a couple of them have some good eligibility left. You bring them in behind them, bring Seneca in. Whew, you could
Yeah.
start to have a lot of fun at that tight end position.
Yeah. I, I'm I'm honestly pretty excited um, to see what it turns into, and how quickly. I mean, we can see some impact because we're not that far off, man. I don't think it can get much worse than what we've seen. And again, that's no shot to obviously, as Jaren said, like he had a good year in terms of receiving a little bit, but like I mean, blocking wise, we haven't done anything the last 2.5 years, so, and
Well,
it's
and it,
been
it, it affects your pass protection and your run game, and those are just areas you can't afford to like be light on. You know what I mean?
yes, yeah, no, I do 100%. Um, Another transition point here before we get into the last part of what I think it would be nice to obviously we can open up for Q&A, but also talk a little bit about Kyler in more in depth and what happened today with that. But um, another thing that happened here in Indy last week is I remember waking up. I don't know, maybe it was Friday morning, something like that, and I had a text from Trav. He's sleeping in the bed at this time, but I got a text. I look up, and this man has a picture of him and Greg Oden.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what were you doing? Like, where did you see Greg Oden at? Apparently he's an agent now and everything.
Yeah, so he's getting into the agency game. He's obviously big around the area, and I was up having a cigar with Kobe right there, and I turn and I'm like, "That's Greg Oden." So I was like, "Hey, Greg, what are you doing here?" So he comes over, and the nicest dude ever. Like he's like, "Hey," and I imagine he's been humbled a bit, obviously, right? Being known as one of the biggest busts in professional sports history, probably, and being picked one spot ahead
Yeah,
of, a Hall of Famer that's still playing today. So yeah, he's like, "Yeah, let's connect," blah blah blah, and me, him, and Kobe got to talking and whatnot. And he's like, "All right, let's exchange numbers. Let's do this, that, and the other." Well, the way he remembers where you met, basically, is he'll take a selfie and then text it to you. So, like, all of a sudden, both Kobe and I are just, chilling, I think, having a cigar and a couple beverages during the combine. And all of a sudden, we each get a selfie of Greg Oden and us. So this was Greg
there
Oden.
it was.
It was it was odd. That was for sure. It was odd. So, yep.
This
Oh,
man
great. You
is
never know who you're going to into at the combine. I'll tell you what, that
no,
is a fun city when the combine's in town. Ran into everybody. Ran into Schefter. Talked with
Yep.
him, McAfee, and Peter Schrager for a while. Um, Ran into Matt Berry, the king of fantasy football.
Yep.
I mean, it's just everybody's there. They're there to hang out and do NFL business.
Yeah. I mean, it was star-studded. That's for sure. But yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious. Greg on the legend in the city, right? Just for who he is, and he was a high school star here, three back-to-back-to-back state championships, and the city had a lot of talent then. I mean, Eric Gordon was in the city, George Hill was in the city, Jeff Teague was in the city, Courtney Lee, Josh McRoberts, like all at that time. So it wasn't like easy pickings, but they were just so dominant in Mike Conley. So, anyways, Kyler is moving on. He's free. He's a free agent essentially, and somebody can sign him on a minimum deal because he's got guaranteed money from the Cardinals. So we would assume he's probably going to a team that has a good roster and is looking for just a quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough because does Trav's business translate to NFL teams? Yes, that's why I'm there. So I actually today spoke with, or at least had correspondence with the Eagles vice president of football ops and strategy, the Dolphins director of college scouting, the Patriots director of college scouting, the Cowboys director of college scouting, the Rams national scout, and then the longtime director of ops for the Eagles, who you all know as Jake Rosenberg. So, yeah, I mean, we think it does. We got some of these NFL teams. They tell me, "Hey, look, this is valuable information." So, they just gotta sign on the dotted line, I suppose. So, still waiting on that, and obviously conversations. I've got data on about 100 draft prospects, so I divide those out by position. And then what's cool about draft or mock draft season is I can reach out to these guys and be like, "Hey, there's this one guy that keeps on getting brought up in all your mock drafts. I've got relational data on him. Do you want it?" So that's been fun this last week. So I'll continue to gather data on draft prospects and get those to the right hands, the NFL right hands. So that he signed up the Yugoslavian women's synchronized swim team. Hey, I think we're available in like 31 languages, so we can make it happen. Hey, Yugoslavia, hit my line.
Pick up the phone.
Hit my line.
Yeah. Where would you? Here's a question: where would you like to see Kyler go? A, B. Do you think he makes a beeline for the MLB?
I don't think he'll go play baseball. I think at this point he would feel more like a novelty there. I mean, obviously he's got talent, but he doesn't have the leverage that he once did, because part of why he was like the A's were going to bend over backwards for him is because they needed to beat the NFL for him. Like, it would have been such a win for the for baseball as a whole, for Major League Baseball, to be able to convince the number one draft pick of the NFL to play baseball instead. And that just doesn't exist anymore. So I'm wondering I mean, theoretically, yes, if he were to go play baseball, then like they would still get that as a victory. But I don't think anybody is looking at it now as it was as when he was coming out of college. So doesn't have that leverage. Would he have to go play AA ball, AAA ball? Are they just going to put him on the roster right away? Put him in the show? I don't think they would right now. Does he want to travel through AAA ball when he's already worth 9 figures? Probably not. So I think he'll go play football somewhere, have a prove it year, and then be eligible for a huge extension. Like, I think that's what he's thinking. And, when you look at kind of like, I think the 3 teams that people have been circling are like the Jets, the Vikings, the Browns. which it's upsetting that the Vikings are looped in with teams like the Browns and the Jets. But is what it is. So, with Minnesota, he's got the quarterback guru. He's got, he's got Jay Jettas. He's got Jordan Addison. He's got a retooled offensive line that hopefully stays healthy this year. And then, but at the same time, it's like, is it a scheme fit, right? Allegedly, KOC has always wanted the under center or maybe a bigger bodied guy, this, that, and the other. Whereas Cleveland, it's like Todd Monken was with Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson and Kyler aren't the same player, but you go to him, but then you run into, okay, what's up with Deshaun Watson? What's up with Shedeur Sanders? Like, what's up in that quarterback room? Like, it's already just a circus up there, right? So I feel bad for Dylan. And then the Jets, well, it's the Jets. Like, they have a good offensive line, but past that, like, you don't have much by way of playmakers or anything like that. So, as biased as it probably is, if you look at who's the best weapon that is available on those three teams, it's Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Not particularly close.
Yeah.
When you look at like quarterbacks, it's like, or quarterback coaching, like KOC and Todd Monken, theoretically, like one's got better track record with quarterbacks, the other one's got maybe a better scheme fit. I don't know. I think the Vikings would be the obvious choice there, because you get the best weapons, and I think he remembers what it was like to play with DeAndre Hopkins. Even DeAndre Hopkins came out and tweeted that Kyler and Justin Jefferson would be a movie. Like I think a lot of people would love to see that in Minnesota, me included.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like that's the consensus, Trav. I'm looking at on X right now. Most people are saying, hey, Minnesota makes the most sense. And I think, from a standpoint of where you guys are at, I mean, you are a year removed. Well, now about to be 2 from being, 14-3. And so there's still good framework there. You just need, a quarterback that's going to hopefully stay healthy, one. And then also, like you said, Justin Jefferson being able to do what he's going to do. And we'll see what you guys can do in the draft. But, I mean, you have pieces there to be a successful NFC team. Now, the NFC is, crazily enough, like at the top was better than the AFC this year, which has not been the case in previous years. It's typically been the AFC that's been the tougher conference, but this year the NFC proved to be.
Well, with playoff Josh not making it out of the AFC, and then Mahomes obviously not playing down the stretch. Like, I'm just I'm dealing with it with golf coverage right now, but I'm so glad that Josh Allen did not advance in the playoffs, because hearing announcers just drool all over that guy, it's so annoying. So I tweeted about it today because I was trying to watch, I was watching the, Arnie's tournament out of Bay Hill, and, Chris Gotterup's playing in it. Chris Gotterup's won twice this year, which is more than anybody else. And, like, I can't get any coverage of the guy. Yet they were watching, Justin Thomas shoot one of the worst rounds of his life probably. And we get to watch every shot of that. And all we hear is about Scotty Scheffler. Oh, man, Scotty's 7 back. But it's like, and I know he'll be fine. But it's like, they'd be like, oh, Scotty makes it look so easy. And then he would miss a putt. And they're like, man, I don't know what happened there. It's like these announcers get so wrapped up in their stars that they don't, like, they end up turning fans off to those players. And that's what frustrates me the most. It's like I have no real beef with Scotty Scheffler. I have no beef with Rory. I have no beef with Justin Thomas. But just watching golf this year, I don't like any of them all of a sudden. because of how they're covered, right? So, like, when he was 10 back a couple weeks ago, it was, oh, shark in the water. They hear Scheffler coming. Oh, man, he's a whale. The two announcers were just having a glaze off between them, and it was terrible. I'm like, we gotta chill on it. Like, Goddard made a putt to climb into the top 10, and we instead had to watch Justin Thomas hit another ball into the water. I was like, and you can so quickly go between shots, like quickly, just go boom, boom, boom. Like, you don't have to see him line up the putt for 45 seconds. Yeah, you'll be back, guys. You don't need to see him line up the putt for 45 seconds and then putt. No, you can show 3 other shots in that time. Like, golf shots happen quickly. Like, you can bounce around your coverage. So, I don't know. I hope Goddard makes more putts tomorrow. He was 300 today. But I hope they actually show him tomorrow. Maybe that's the bar that I need to clear. I hope they actually show more than 5 of his shots tomorrow.
Guys, let's get to some questions. What questions do you guys have? Obviously we talked through Kyler and a lot of the combine stuff, and really that's the extent right now. I mean, obviously OU baseball is doing, and they finally beat Dallas Baptist after years of not being able to do so. I believe they're up right now. Oklahoma basketball has had a resurgence of late, maybe a bubble team. Obviously softball's top 5 in the country. Doing pretty well. Women's basketball had a good game today. So, OU sports to look at. Have we talked about Roger Denny at all?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, I don't know what. I'm not sure he said much to talk about yet. I mean, he's still kind of getting his bearings, getting his, I just he hasn't had to make any really big decisions yet. And of course, the big decision that looms is Porter Moser. Like what happens if Porter Moser goes and wins the SEC tournament? I mean,
that'd be crazy.
I mean, you're obviously in the field of 68 at that point with your auto bid, but what if Oklahoma goes to the SEC championship? Is that enough quad? Because keep in mind, every one of them is a quad 1 win. Like, any SEC win is a quad 1 win, and it's a non-starter if they lose to Texas this weekend. Like, if they lose to Texas, like, you're done. Like, there is no path. But yeah, see what Richard says. Richard knows what's up. But there is no path if that's the case. But if they beat Texas for, I believe, what would be Porter Moser's only second time to beat Texas, then you may be cooking with something. I mean, that game, on Saturday, you turn right around. If I believe Auburn loses, you end up being the 11 seed, which would be good for Mo Wagee, who's going through Ramadan right now. So an afternoon game would be very tough because he would not be able to eat. So an evening game would be good. He could eat. So anyways, we'll see. A body, yes, remains were found. So remains were found. I'm not sure it was a full intact body, but remains were found, and yeah, they weren't there for the medical school. They weren't there for any labs, anything like that. No idea. I'm not sure whatever came of that, to be honest. A body in a bathroom on campus. Goodness gracious. What's going on in Norman right now, guys?
Good question.
Kaysen, I don't know what, if you want to give some details. In position drill, sorry about letting me have covered it. I hope Sooner ends up in the Lions, but when Laporta went down, we lacked a playmaker. So, with Kanik, I believe it was the Chargers that told him they'd be in touch with him, but he looked good, man. He kept telling me, he said, the hands are always sweet. I can always catch. And with him, he slipped on one of the routes, which was unfortunate, but it's that kind of stuff. Like, they want to see how you move. They want to see how you run. They want to see that. Can you catch? And a lot of it is like, I almost describe it as like a DUI, like field sobriety test. Like, part of what they're testing you on isn't whether you can, touch your nose. It's, can you follow instructions? Can you remember instructions? And can you follow them, correctly, right? So a lot of that is, hey, look, Jaron, I need you to do this. Here's an example of it. Go do it. He did that, did it great, was great in interviews. I think you all probably saw his 2.5 minutes on. Well, he had a longer interview, but the 2.5 minutes that Oklahoma Breakdown tweeted out about, hey, do you regret this, that, or the other? And I think with him, I think he's just going to be a guy everybody wants in the locker room, not just because he's great on Twitter, but yeah, I think he'll do well. I'm not sure what his position, more of like a halfback type role, I assume, but I don't think at 6'2" he's going to go in there and, like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to. Let's see, Jaron. So Jaron measured 6'2", 234. I mean, that's like a wide receiver, type build. Had the 4.52, 36-inch vertical, 24 reps on the bench press. His overview on the NFL by NFL analyst Lance Zierlein says Kanik went from run-first high school quarterback to college linebacker, then flipped to tight end for his final season. He's undersized, and his run blocking isn't on functional level yet. As a receiver, there's plenty of room for improvement as a route runner, but he already shows the toughness, hands, and catch focus of a veteran at the position. A lack of size and versatility makes him a niche prospect, but the production, special teams value, and likely improvement as a route runner could get him drafted. Strengths, impressive catch production from a single season at tight end, keeps up his pace throughout the route, sits quickly and shows his numbers in short zone. Excellent hand-eye coordination and catch focus. Adjustments to off-frame throws. Okay, no material jokes. Adjustments to off-frame throws come naturally. Experienced 4-phase special teams option. Weaknesses, they say, are small and lacking length even by H-back standards. Has trouble separating from man coverage underneath. Very limited catch radius, requires an accurate passer. Starting at ground floor with run blocking technique and fundamentals, and appears to lack willingness for collisions necessarily as a move blocker. So that is the scouting report for young Jaron by Lance Zierlein.
I'm not as much of a sneakerhead. I mean, I like sneakers. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money, but I'll be interested to look into it.
I'm interested. I need to read through some of these other scouting reports. These look fun. I'm a bit of a sneakerhead. I mean, I got probably 15 pairs of Jordans or something like that, but not. I mean,
If Brett never leaves and Brett hands him, if Brett never leaves and Bob hands Brett the keys, have we won the championship in that time frame?
I think probably, man. What happens to Lincoln in this? Like, well,
does Lincoln? Are we saying Lincoln comes in? That
right,
Lincoln is still the OC, like he still gets brought as the OC.
Who's running the offense? Is I guess my question.
Bob chooses Brent instead of Lincoln.
Yeah, Kaysen, I need to know who's running the offense for these last 10 years. Like that has me curious. While you think of who's running the offense, I'm going to read Deion Burks's. Um, Fifth-year slot receiver who is savvy against zone coverage and crafty after making a catch. Burks does a good job of utilizing his straight line speed when the ball is in his hands. He struggles to win on vertical routes, though. He creates windows underneath by crisply breaking off short routes. He's a compact, short arm target who secures catch through contact. However, his production left something to be desired during his time at Purdue and Oklahoma. Comebacks and curls are often swallowed. Coaching and route work could lead to improvement in those areas. Burks lacks standout measurables, but better quarterback play could unlock a more productive player. Strengths: shaves in breaking routes with disciplined tight cuts. Loose hips allow for smoother adjustments to back hip throws. Displayed vast improvement to finish combat catches. Squares numbers to quarterback and frames his catch point. Plays with pro footwork, dropping both feet near the boundary. Spatial awareness present in route breaks and zone landings. Crafty runner on jet sweeps after the catch. Weaknesses: play speed doesn't always align with timed speed, lacks convincing push to sell his curls comebacks, short arms put him at a disadvantage on 50-50 balls, early head turns shorten his drive phase on deep routes, waits for throws outside the numbers to come to him instead of attacking them. When I read these, I think about having Jim Nagy as GM because like he takes that approach, he takes the approach as if he's an NFL scout, right? So it's like when he looks at a high schooler or a transfer portal player, he's probably not getting the short-armed guy, probably not getting the guy that doesn't attack the ball on the boundary, probably doesn't get the guy that his speed doesn't show up on tape. You know what I mean? Like, I love Deion. Like, I'm not here to knock any Sooners, but when you think of things you can scout for, like wingspan or something, like I don't think you're gonna like. I think those times are over in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So in his hypothetically swapping Mike Stoops and BV.
So he's saying Lincoln never came. I don't know. It would depend on who's running the offense. I mean, because you think about it, like the offense before Lincoln got there was really stagnant. Like,
Right.
we had okay offenses in 2013 and 2014.
Yeah, there's some revisionist history when it comes to Josh Heupel.
Yeah,
like he's grown a lot.
He had a good year, but he was never like the offense stalled in important moments in 2011 and 2012, and then 2013 we had freaking Blake Bell, who loved the guy, and he's obviously a Super Bowl champion as a tight end. But that's who was out there, and then Trevor Knight, was able to have a great game against Alabama, but didn't do much else after that. And then Baker had to come save the day and be who he was under Lincoln. So,
yeah, I don't know. Like, we would have to put pen to paper to it and be like, okay, who was hired at this time? Who was hired at this time? Like, who was available at this time? Like, who was on staff? Who could have been elevated to that role? Who ended up being an OC at some point? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you end up with Joe John as your OC in that scenario. So, does that answer your question?
Right. Oh well, guys, it was fun. It was fun to be back. Glad we're back on the show. Got about 500 in, so good show with OU baseball going on, and kind of a light week. So, yeah, but we appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out as always, and we'll see what else pops up here between. There's always something that pops up every week. So
always something. Absolutely.
Yeah, Trav, you got anything, man?
I don't think so. We will root for OU men's basketball to go win the SEC tournament.
Yeah. A bunch of chaos.
Hey, crazier things have. Well, I don't know if crazier things have happened. That would be pretty damn crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm
That'll
not getting a haircut, Kirby. I'm growing it out. I'm getting braids. I'm getting cornrows. So deal with it.
yeah. And let's hope that Oklahoma has a fantastic Future Freaks Junior Day and signs a bunch
Yes.
of targets because Kirby, if Oklahoma lands the #1 class in 2027, Kirby's going to be uncomfortable for a week.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but that's all from me. Go check out Horns Down Fine Spirits. They got a new flavor out, white peach.
Okay, so we had apple pie and then we had white peach.
Yep, they're doing the red, white, and blue bottles. So the red apple pie, the white peach, and then blue will be like I'm sure like a blueberry pie, something like that. So like and subscribe, just like Richard Spray says. And yeah, that's it from me.
It's a wrap. We'll see y'all next week. Boomer.